7 minutes past 7. Welcome to the second hour of Sabahul Muslim Drive Time here on Radio Islam International. Now, like I mentioned in the last hour, today is the commencement of Media and Information Literacy Week. And this is an event which is commemorated from the 24th, which is today, until the 31st, next week, Monday. People across the world are witnessing a dramatic increase in access to information and communication. While some people are starved for information, others are flooded with print, broadcast, and digital content. Is there too much of content out there today? You see, in life, nothing's perfect. This world is an imperfect place. It's only Jannah which is perfect. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, in His wisdom, has designed the world such that nothing will be perfect. For every advancement, there will be a set of consequences. That's just how it works. So the advancement of technology in the main, we would say, is positive. It has made communication easier. You don't have to go and pop down to the post office and buy stamps and type out a letter and then put on the stamp and get someone to drop it off. You just send an email or you just send a WhatsApp message and it's done. Or you communicate with that person via DM on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or wherever else. Communication has become easier, but this instant communication has come with its own set of challenges. We are seeing a dramatic increase in the access to information and communication, access to knowledge. Having access to knowledge and actually having knowledge are two separate things. Some may still claim that they are starved of information, but almost everyone these days are flooded, whether it be print, whether it be broadcast, or whether it be digital. You've got so many stations on the digital platform that you can listen to. You can flip between stations. You've got podcasts now. You've got apps that kind of curate content for you. So that's if you want to listen or you want to watch. Print, you can, go to Google News and it kind of consolidates. And there are many other apps and other websites and other platforms. From your device in the palm of your hand, you can access so many different websites. And then you've got social media. Twitter is updating you all the time in terms of what's happening. And WhatsApp, perhaps the biggest challenge is there. How much of content are we being fed? Sometimes, when you're busy with your phone, you can actually feel, okay, I'm starting to develop a bit of a headache. There's just too much of coming. And our attention span then is becoming much shorter because we're having to look at so many different things. We don't, consolidate and look at one thing and then say, okay, I'm going to look at it properly. I'm going to look at it thoroughly. So, yeah, I mean, that's the question that we have today. Is there too much of media-related content out there today? And that would include social media. Nowadays, I understand that you even have apps that help you to regulate how much of time you spend accessing, media-related content. I don't know if those apps work or don't work or to what extent they work. So what do you feel? Do you also find yourself in a situation where you think, no, I'm accessing too much of content on the media, especially on the social media front, and I'm not getting enough time to read, I'm not getting enough time to think, I'm not getting enough time to rest my mind, to clear my mind, to detox my mind, to do what they call a brain dump, to get all the unnecessary things out and get rid of it. What are your thoughts in this regard? Whilst we focus on this Media and Information Literacy Week, is there too much of information out there? Are we being flooded? Is there too much of content? Are we being exposed to too much of content which is not authentic? People are building speaking careers by focusing on conspiracy theories, by projecting themselves as fearless leaders who are willing to speak up to a mainstream narrative. Speaking to up a mainstream narrative is one thing. Being a fearless speaker is one thing. But how authentic is what you are sharing? How much of research has actually gone into it? Everything in the mainstream is not correct. Everything in the mainstream is not free of its own bias and prejudice. But just to latch onto something because you want to negate that, and you don't care who you implicate, and you don't care who you accuse, and you don't care who you slander in the process, and people become popular because of that. They actually go and travel just to promote those kind of theories. Is that as a result of having too much of consumption of this kind of theory that people's mindsets are also becoming warped? You sit on WhatsApp the whole day and you want to watch all of these things that are not constructive. They don't lead to any productivity. They are not solution orientated. That are just undermining or questioning everything and everyone else. There's a place for that up to a particular extent, but that cannot become the core focus and that cannot become the obsession. So these are some thoughts that come to my mind. What are your thoughts in this regard? You can WhatsApp us on 072-786-1548. Okay, so what can you look forward to in this, the second and then the third hour of the Morning Drive program here on Radio Islam International, which is called Sabahul Muslim? In a bit, we have our hadith for the morning. We focus on the reward of looking after your daughters and looking after women folk in your family. That's part of the discussion relating to the chapter, about showing compassion and care and consideration for those who are marginalized in society. The Palestine report with Hafiz Ibrahim Musa. Unfortunately, Hamas has re-established ties with the Assad regime. We'll talk about that. After 7:30, Words with Maulana Wajah. The Sirah Surat Banu Israel today, focuses on talking about that which you have no knowledge of. Kind of relates to, or it links up to this question that we have. At 7:45, we speak to Professor Yusuf Adam from Mozambique about Samora Machel. It's now 4 decades since his death. What's his legacy? What's the legacy of the party, Frelimo? Well, we'll talk about that at about 7:45. After 8, South Africa's broken water system. They say in some places up to 40% of the water is lost to leaks and to faulty infrastructure. We'll be speaking to 2 experts about that. Our theme discussion for this week focuses around exams in general and matric exams in specific. And the Congress party has got a new leader. It's moved away from the Gandhi family, the Gandhi ancestry. The leader's name is Mallikarjun Kharge, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but we'll find out more about him and whether this would mean that Congress would be able to give the BJP a bit more of a run for its money, because at the moment in the last 2 elections, it's been simply one-way traffic in favor of the BJP. So that's the lineup between now and 9 o'clock. Whatever's on your thoughts, on your mind in terms of the topics that we have lined up, do share your thoughts with us, or anything else which you feel is of relevance to our listeners. Do drop us a WhatsApp or communicate with us via Facebook and Twitter. It's just gone now, 7:15.
Hadith Discussions on Sabahul Muslim with Maulana Sulaimaan Ravat.
عن أنس رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: من عال جاريتين حتى تبلغا جاء يوم القيامة أنا وهو كهاتين وضم أصابعه. رواه مسلم. Anas radiallahu anhu narrates that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, I am the one who takes care of 2 daughters until they reach maturity will be like this on the day of Qiyamah. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam joined his fingers together, his index and middle finger. So similar to the hadith about the one who looks after a yatim, an orphan, it's to show that you will be in close proximity to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam on the day of Qiyamah. If you look after 2 daughters until they reach maturity, meaning until the age when they get married and they become the responsibility of their husbands, until that point, you take care of them and you look after them. And this is a means of your entry into Jannah, because if you are going to be in close proximity to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam will be in Jannah for eternity. We know what the situation was prior to Islam. Daughters were seen as liabilities, that, I'm going to look after, but she's going to become somebody else's. Daughters were buried alive. The Quran asked the question that they will ask these daughters who are buried alive on the day of Qiyamah. They will ask their very fathers who buried them alive, بِأَيِّ ذَنبٍ قُتِلَتْ. What sin did I do that you had to bury me alive? Islam came and gave women honor and gave women virtue, that your daughter is a blessing from Allah. And if you look after your daughter, you look after 2 daughters, don't see it as a double liability. That could be your ticket to Jannah. Allah gives Jannah to different people in different ways. Islam has elevated the status of women. Islam has given women rights and protection. This hadith speaks specifically about daughters, but there are other hadith. For example, the hadith of Imam Ahmad, when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he who takes care of 2 daughters or 2 sisters or 2 maternal aunts or 2 grandmothers or 2 paternal aunts will be with me in Jannah like this. So women are seen even today with all, the democratic values and the talk about feminism, etc. Women even today are still marginalized, even in the Western world, even in developed countries. Islam is saying you have a responsibility, O man, not only to your daughters, but to your sisters and to your mother and to your maternal and to your paternal aunts. And if you fulfill that responsibility, it could be your ticket to Jannah. and it could secure you proximity to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Jannah forever. May Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala make us from amongst those who will honor our women folk and who will fulfill their rights. And may Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala grant us the understanding of the true position of women in Islam. It's now 17 past 7. After the break, the Palestine report with Maulana Ibrahim Musa.
This is Sabahul Muslim.